Hey cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. It is that time again for our monthly update on these seeds that I sowed in my A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series, which I sowed seeds back in, I think, late November of 2022. So those seedlings are now 9 months old, and we've also been tracking another set of seeds that I sowed in like mid-September of last year. So those are now 11 months old. Like, I cannot believe that next month they're going to be a year old. But if I kind of step back a little bit, you're going to see things have changed quite a bit in here since the last time I did the update video. You'll notice some of these shelves are now empty, whereas they were full before, and the lights are off. And there is a reason why, in which I'll do an update kind of on my Copiapoa seedlings in general after we take a look at how these seedlings are doing. So since the last video, I have practically repotted just about every pot of the 9 and 11 month seedlings, and they're in these 2 trays and then in 2 more trays at the end of my shelf. Now that they've all been separated like this, they're all mixed together. So I'm just going to go through the seedlings from left to right. And for the ones that I know how old they are, I will say, but some of them I can't tell that easily without reading all the labels, in which I'm not going to go through every single label because it's just too much. So let's go ahead and get started and see how these seedlings are doing. I would say overall, the majority are doing okay, but some of the pots are not doing that great. And so let's go ahead and just take a look. Why don't we start over here? And I apologize about the lighting. By the way, I'm just going to go over the Copiapoa seedlings. The Aerocarpus seedlings are really not doing well, and I think I made a mistake. I shouldn't have left them indoors. They should have gone out into the heat, because the Aerocarpus really do thrive in heat. So we're just going to go over the Copiapoa seedlings. These ones are 11 months old, so they're the older set. All of these guys are 11-month-olds, these bigger ones. And I don't know if they really are growing at like the full potential of how fast they can grow, because they were so squished in those overcrowded pots for so long. And that might have an effect on their growth rate, but I don't know. So I mean, they're 11 months old. They're only a month away from being a year old, and I don't know. What do you guys think? So there's 2 sizes of pots here. There's a 3 1/4 inch pot here. And then these are 2 1/2 inch pots over here. So I mean, these guys are still pretty small. Maybe the size of a quarter. Let me go grab a quarter and see if that's true or not. Yeah, I'd say that's roughly the size of a quarter. Maybe a little, no, to my eyeball they're actually about the same. So I feel like these are actually growing a little bit slower than my Copiapoa lambeckia in the past, because I swear, like my first ever video on my Copiapoa seedlings, I have a quarter in the thumbnail. So at 9 months they were really already that big in the past. So these might be growing a little bit slower. You can see like some of these pots have dead seedlings in there, and you're going to see that throughout the pots as we keep going. These are smaller seedlings, in which, if I don't look at the label, I really can't tell if these are the 9-month or the 11-month-old seedlings. So these are all Copiapoa calderana lambeckia var magnifica. See, these guys are the smaller ones. Sorry about the lighting as usual. They're really small there. We go to the next tray. These are Copiapoa coquimbana KK1388, and you'll see that they were doing well for a while, and then they stopped doing well, and I don't know why. They're still alive, but you can see they don't look happy. Some of them are not alive. They look kind of shriveled. Let's see, here's another pot of them. Like that. The color doesn't look right. And we've got the Copiapoa marginata, and they've always looked really stressed, and they still are. Quite purple, not looking like the most vibrant, the most healthy either. This is another Lembeckii. Here's Copiapoa pepiniana var federlariana. Very, very purple, and you can tell I have not split this up yet. These are 9 months old. This is probably marginata. You can see not looking so great. Here's Copiapoa tigriensis. There are 2 seedlings in here, growing very, very slow, but not looking too bad. I thought that this Copiapoa heseltoniana seedling had already rotted, but clearly it had not, because it's still here. It would have completely melted if it had rotted, like by now. And then we're back to the Lembeckii. These are looking pretty stressed. I think you can see that they're really kind of a purple color. And these are the 9-month-olds, because I actually have the date on the tag facing me, or us. You can see that. So these are the smaller ones of the 9 months old. So you can see the 9 months old here, they're a little bit bigger. Oh, these are, okay, we're back to 11-month-olds on this one. This one. Yeah, it's all mixed together. Anyway. These are 11-monthers. 11-month-olds. It's a pretty good size there. Looks very healthy, not too stressed. These are the smaller 11-month-olds. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of 11-month-olds here. I think these are mostly 11-month-olds, except for kind of a handful, maybe half of this tray is the 9-month-olds. So let's go move over to the other 2 trays. All right, so now it's really a mix of, let's see, these in the front row are all 9 months old. I just saw my camera do a color correction. The next row are 11-month-olds, but they're kind of the smaller ones, really small. So these are not var magnifica. They are the Lembeckii KK70s, but the KK70s and the var magnificas are kind of mixed together as well, so sorry about that. There's that one 3-headed guy there, still alive. Gosh, the lighting really is not great. These are more 11-month-olds. I think this is KK70, but it's all mixed together, so I don't, without seeing the label, we can't really tell. Here, let's see, what is this? This is 11-month-old. This is var magnifica again. We've got this tray, which is not completely full, but let's take a look. These are 9-month-olds, var magnifica. This is also 9 months old. Let's see. Also var magnifica. Okay, now we've got that Copiapoa, was it Mammillaria variecanata. These are 9 months old. The pot's doing okay. My camera's really not working well with this light. I mean, we're under grow lights. It should be bright. 9 months old here. I think we're back to Var Magnifica, Lembeckii. This one's actually looking pretty healthy. These are all 9 months old. Let's see. This is Var Magnifica as well. More 9 monthers. And then the next few pots are all Mammillaria variecanata, so they're all 9 months old. Now these have been purple for quite a few updates now, and they're still purple. I just haven't put in the effort to help reduce their stress, so they're just dealing with it. So this is probably Lembeckii again. All right, back to Lembeckiis. These are all 9 monthers. I can't see my screen, so I don't know how I'm pointing my camera. That was a pretty good size. This one here. Look how purple that one is. Yeah, so that's what my 9 and 11 month old Copiapoa seedlings look like today. Kind of a mix between good and not so good. Some are really stressed, some are okay. It's kind of all over the place. So now, where did all my other seedlings go? You can see some trays here, but where did everybody go? They all went outside into the shade house, and they all went outside probably within the last week or two. The reason why is, for some reason, these older Copiapoa seedlings started to have problems, and I have no idea why. I've talked to a few growers in North America, and our guess is that they can't be kept indoors for so long. They need to go outside. Something probably to do with airflow, fresh air, possibly even temperature swing, because they're living inside the house with me. The temperature is roughly constant, and I don't think they like that. And they do find, like, these younger ones can probably stay in here for a bit longer. I think it's okay when they're young, but as they get older, they really need to be moved outside. And so, like, for example, some of my seedlings started to rot, and they started to rot probably a bit after when I noticed that something was wrong. And that, let me see if I can show an example with, okay, here's an example. You see this one? This is a Copiapoa pendulina. I don't know if you can tell, but can you see that the skin is a little bit wrinkled? Like the cactus body is shriveling. Although it's being watered, it doesn't seem to be taking up water. There's another example here. The skin is kind of wrinkled. Unlike the one behind it, you see that was nice and full, skin is taut, no sign of wrinkles, but this one isn't the case, and you'll see more of them, actually a whole bunch of them. So in the beginning I saw maybe one seedling starting to do this, and I kind of ignored it. I thought, oh, maybe it just needs more water. But then I started seeing more seedlings doing that, and more and more and more. Then some rotted. I actually have been working on a grafting video. Your girl is starting to get into grafting, but I'm still waiting on these to complete that series on my first time doing any grafting. So I've actually had a need to rescue seedlings. So when I increased watering, it just made things worse. Like, they were just not taking up water for some reason, which tells me something to do with the roots, or just something is not right. So if they're not going to do well indoors, then why keep them indoors? Move them out. So I've been steadily moving things outdoors, either to the shade house or under the pergola. But you can see here I have 4 trays left of these older seedlings, and I have no space outside, so I need to go make space. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take you out into the shade house and show you what it looks like in there. It's basically completely packed full of Copiapoa seedlings. Alright, so we are inside my shade house now, and you can see that the majority of the pots in here are now Copiapoa seedlings. So we're in late August now, and it's still really hot. My phone says that right now it's 108 degrees and probably humidity in the low 20s or so. It's pretty darn hot. And you know, I've always heard that Copiapoa don't like the heat because they come from the Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert is not a hot desert. But, you know, even in my temperature controlled house, these seedlings are not happy. So, I don't know. This is the only option they have, is to come out here if they don't like it in the house. So let me find them, but there are about a dozen seedlings that I put out here in the shade house back in the spring, so before it got super, super hot. And I find that they're doing better than the ones indoors. So this is one that I had put in the shade house in the spring, and they've been out here, you know, the entire summer season. That one back there in the corner. See, it looks nice and plump, no signs of wrinkling. It's growing if you look at those new spines coming out the top of the seedling. Let me see if I can find the other ones. Weird, I can't find the other ones. I think maybe this one is another one. Oh yeah, definitely. This one is actually all 8 of these, and 9 of them have all been out here since springtime, and they're doing way better than the seedlings indoors. And it's not like they're doing way better the whole season. It's just suddenly the indoor seedlings are not doing well. And now I'm very nervous about, of course, having changed their environment to something way hotter. I don't really know. Like here I've got a Copiapoa olivana. It grew really funny, like super tall, and then a coquinbana behind it. Also funny, growing super tall. They were doing great indoors, and then they started to wrinkle. So I think I put this one out first. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm going to change their environment immediately because they're going to die if they stay indoors. And I swear it looks better now than before, and we can see clearly it's growing. So there is something about being outdoors that these guys really need. So, you know, in the Phoenix area where it's so hot in the summer, like I would have preferred putting them out here in the fall when it cools down, but now I have no choice because they're just going to die indoors if I don't do anything. Now I'm really worried about their soil medium because they're almost all of these are still in their baby soil, which is that perlite peat moss mix. Even though there's a very heavy content of perlite, because the grain size of the perlite is so small, they hold on to water for a lot longer. So I think what I'm going to do is steadily repot these guys into adult soil with pumice and cactus soil and really just hope for the best. You know, I'm a beginner at this. This is the first time that I've gotten seedlings to this age and have reached that point of, okay, they got to go outside. Because that's been a big question mark, is they can't live indoors forever. When do they go outside? I think this is the time. And even I really freaked out was that my weirdo here was having problems too. Like you can kind of tell the base of the plant is kind of shriveled. And I have taken this out of the pot to check if it rotted and if there's something wrong with the roots, but underneath it actually looked okay. This one's already potted into adult mix with pumice and cactus oil. These are Copiapoa rupestris. Those are my Lambekii KK70s, from my first batch ever. This one, oh by the way, these guys just turned 2 years old. So my oldest Copiapoa seedlings are 2 years old. I was so worried that these guys were going to die when I saw the problem show up. And they could still die, you know, with this major change. This is another 2-year-old. I don't know if you can see the spine color. When I'm indoors, I cannot see that the spine color is so beautiful. Like this one's not completely black. It goes brown, almost red, and then it turns black as the spines go out, but I don't know. That probably doesn't come out on camera. It's very beautiful in natural light. This is not a 2-year-old. This is actually one of my, this was sowed in late January of 2022. It's like a year and 7 months old or so. Yeah. This is one of my oldest ones. This is also kind of shriveling indoors. It's so pretty on the spine color, which I never noticed when I was indoors. It's not as obvious under the grow lights. It's a lot more obvious under kind of filtered natural light. Oh, here's another one. Mammillaria KK70, 2 years old. These are all var magnificas from January of 2022. And down here, one of these guys actually already rotted. It's one of, oh, actually I tried grafting it, but spoiler alert, it failed. This is Calderana. Those are cinerescens in the back. Sorry, it's backlit, so the lighting's so bad. These are Brigetsii. Yeah, so I've already encountered some rotting seedlings. I'm trying to save what I can through grafting. But anyway, that is my update. Wish me luck. You know, we're gonna be kind of nearing the very last month or so of summer, and then as things start to cool down, we're gonna be entering another new territory that I've never charted before, you know, all these seedlings. I think if I can get even half of these guys to stay alive with me, maybe that will be considered an accomplishment. We'll see. Let me take you under the pergola. I'll show you a few more seedlings that are in there. Okay, so you may ask, all those seedlings in the shade house, where did they go? You know, all your Mammillaria, all your barrow cactus. Where did they go? Well, they're under the pergola. The majority of them are over on this side, and more of them over here. And as you can see, there's like enough space to walk, kind of, and then no more space. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those 4 trays of Copiapoa seedlings that are indoor. Maybe I'll just put them on the ground for now. I don't know. But let's see. I've got a handful of Copiapoa seedlings out here, kind of the larger ones. These actually I had up-potted into larger pots. A lot of these are still in their baby soil, so I've just repotted them today into adult soil. And then some of these I had up-potted into larger 3 1/4 inch pots. And then as I was dumping out their baby soil, I realized some of these actually don't have much of a taproot, and they have a very small root system. So there's no reason really to have them in a big pot. So I actually ended up down potting them into 2 1/2 inch pots, even though their cactus bodies are pretty big. And you know, normally you'd think this is close to outgrowing the pot, but the root system doesn't reflect that. Oh, Humulus. This one hasn't been doing well that great either, but still alive. I repotted this one today, so no sign of rot, thank goodness. These are grandiflora. This is my 2-year-old Copiapoa Heseltoniana with a little sibling down there. This one I also down potted because it doesn't have a very extensive root system. So these 5 pots, they're now in adult soil. And then over here I have 3 more. These guys I just repotted today also into adult soil. And I left them in these kind of taller pots because they actually have some really long taproots. So it actually makes sense for them to be in here. So these guys have been moved into adult soil as well. It's grandiflora, Wagonectii. This one was also starting to do poorly indoors. It's one of my biggest seedlings. And when I saw that, I started to panic. And I've had it out here for, I think I moved it into the shade house first, and then I moved it into the pergola. And I was just praying that they don't burn, even though there's shade cloth up, but you know, that sudden transition. So far, so good. And I've got this guy, this is my #1 biggest seedling, Copiapoa pendulina. You can see that it looks like it's sick, almost like a copper rust fungus, which it could very well be. It came down with this while it was indoors, and then I saw the skin starting to shrink and shrivel. I freaked out. So I think this also started in the shade house, and then I moved it out here, and it seems to be doing okay. So this has been quite a learning experience. It looks like I can start these seedlings indoors. They can probably stay in there for about a year, and then they have to come outside. So I'm going to do that in the future. I thought that these guys would hate our summer, but they seem to hate the indoors even more. All right. I am really curious, from those of you who also grow Copiapoa from seed. You know, I am in the Sonoran Desert, so my climate may be different from yours, but I'm really curious about your experience of growing like these Copiapoa from seed. Do you find that they indeed need to go outdoors? I know for sure that like the native plants here, plants that are native to like Mexico, those ones I don't even hesitate about putting them outside because they love the heat. They thrive in the heat. They like being outdoors. They don't belong indoors at all. And it seems like it may be exactly the same for Copiapoa, even if they don't prefer heat, you know, in an ideal world. But they prefer being outdoors over a cool indoor. So I hope you enjoyed that seedling update and kind of this general update on my older seedlings as well. I think I will be back next month. We will be celebrating a 1-year birthday for some of those seedlings that are indoors. Talk to you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.